Hello folks, thank you so much for joining us here at Evett's Model Shop. My name is Luke and I am the RC repair tech here. Traxxas once again was nice enough to send us a first delivery of their latest product, or rather the latest iteration of a product that they've had out for a little while now. This is the Traxxas TRX 4 scale and trail crawler equipped with the Chevy K5 Blazer body. Right? Now this one is pretty much like going over the features of this is going to be in a lot of ways a rehash of stuff we've already covered with the other releases that are related to the same chassis. This is a fully loaded version, so it's not like the Sport, meaning it has the locking differentials, the 2-speed transmission, the more advanced radio system. It's the TQ with the 3-position switch on the top for those differentials that we talked about, the cruise control, the whole 9 yards, the whole enchilada, fully loaded, ready to go right out the box for a good time, with the exception of a battery and charger, of course, which you'll have to pick up separately. Standard fare pretty much at this point with these trucks. I gotta say right off the bat that looking at the box, the K5 Blazer body is super impressive. I don't really like to get off on tangents too much, but when I was a kid, my dad actually had one of these K5 Blazers. And I think it was probably the same generation as this. He sold it when I was really young and bought an El Camino and then later a dually pickup. Inland Empire lifestyle, man. It was pretty rad. So let's go ahead and get into this guy. See here what we got. Cameraman Steve is with us again today behind the lens. We appreciate him as always. Have a look there, Steve, at that box art if you haven't already. That's the orange one, which isn't the one that we're getting, so let's have a look at the one we are getting. There it is right there. That's the red one. And it's got some pretty good sized tires on there. And it's looking pretty good in that red and black Cheyenne livery. Right off the bat, I can tell you, I'm not exactly sure what year this is, but I know it's a second generation Blazer, and I would hazard to guess it's like a 1976-77. Because Department of Transportation told them that they couldn't have the whole roof come off the truck anymore. People were rolling them over. It's a high-riding off-road truck, and the roof would fly off. So needless to say, that's not a very chill setup in that situation. So that's probably 76, 77, something like that. Anyway, let's not get too crazy about the automotive trivia. Let's just pop this sucker open, see what we're up against, see what we're dealing with, and see what kind of features they've incorporated. Like we covered before, it's mostly just going to be a different body is what we're going to be covering. And we do have another video on the D110 Range Rover iteration of this car that you can check out if you want me to get a little bit more into the features. We also have another video about the TRX4 Sport on this channel, and I know there are other people who have got a lot of videos about these trucks too. You can get the shrink wrap off there. So we're doing it up this way. First, we're going to take out the transmitter. There it is right there. Just like we talked about, it's the TQI. I believe this is a 4-channel unit. There's your menu and select button, so it has the dual functionality of that. Low gear and high gear. Toggle is located right there. That is shift on the fly, as is the locking differential setup. That is open diffs, lock front diff, and lock all 4 is right there for you, okay? Obviously steering, throttle, pretty standard situation so far as that goes. We'll go ahead and set that to the side. Pull this dude out. Don't need to see it anymore. Dude, awesome looking already. So here's the truck, ladies and germs. Rolling out the box. Plastic coating. Oh, dude. This is absolutely killer looking. Well, I don't know what I'm doing here, standing here talking about the way it looks with the plastic on it. Let's get the plastic off and really see what we got going on over here. I'll have a look underneath here really quick before we look at the body back on it, and you'll notice that the way that they laid this chassis out, I wouldn't be surprised if it even has some parts sharing. I mean, I'm almost certain that it does, with the Bronco version of the same body. The fenders are integrated into the chassis as opposed to integrated into the body, which was, to be honest, kind of one of the gripes I had with the D110 version that they made, is the fenders and everything were kind of built into the body. But then again, with the body cage and everything it had, that kind of made sense on that design. On this one, it makes more sense to integrate the inner fenders and whatever have you into the actual chassis, so that's what they did. The plastic today, for whatever reason, is not on my side, dude. There we go. Let's go ahead and bust this dude out. And it is looking absolutely killer as promised. I mean, I knew right away when they were coming out with this, and I found out it was not only a K5, a Chevy, which I dig, of course. I wouldn't go so far as to call myself a Chevy man, but I've definitely got a pretty big chub for these old school, like, square body kind of designs that they had. You know what I mean? The K5, that's for 4-wheel drive. They called these a K5. And Cheyenne, I think, was probably some kind of a trim package. I wasn't able to find much info about that. If anybody knows more about these, reach out to me and let me know. So here's what I was talking about. So this is where the cab is kind of separated right here, where on the very, very first issued ones of the second generation, it would have had the whole roof come off. Anyway, okay, so there's what you're looking at so far as this guy's concerned. Very, very nice looking. Oh, man. So, when you get down in there, you can see that it's got these scale steelies. It's got 6-bolt wheels, so they went to the trouble of doing that on the center caps. And it has the little 4x4 insignia that these trucks would have had on the center caps with little lockers. There's this piece that kind of goes over, it threads down onto the shared thread that the wheel nut threads onto, and goes over the wheel nut. But it's a really nice scale detail that they decided to add to it. And this truck, of course, is complete, like we talked about, with the portal axles that these are famous for also. I know a lot of people are into those and want to hear about those, so it's got that going on. Have a look at the detail on the chromed windshield wipers. Those are separate injection molded pieces. They look really nice. The side view mirrors, bumpers, grille, door handles, taillights, headlight assemblies. Those are all also injection molded and chrome plated pieces. They look rad, and there's even some radiator detail kind of behind the grill that I'm seeing up here. Sorry, I'll try to keep up with you, Steve, my bad. So here's your little tailgate handle there that you got going on. The Chevy badging is on there, the Cheyenne Special there on the back. Very cool. And I gotta hand it to Traxxas again in this one for doing the second generation of this truck. When they did the second generation Bronco, I was really pretty thrilled about it because the market was just so flooded with first gen Broncos. And as cool as those trucks are, and as cool as the early Blazers are, I think they made their debut in like the late 60s, something like that. This generation would have come out in like 73, 74. The second gen, a little bigger, a little blockier. And I was just so psyched to see that they went that way with it because it's unique, you know. And they've got their arms around this old school thing now. And I just really dig it. I think it's rad, okay? What you got going on there now? I'm going to have a quick look under here, and you'll notice another thing that it has in common with the Bronco iteration of the design is it has these chrome plated diff covers it's got going on, and it's got the same link suspension as the other designs had going on. It's got coilovers, aluminum bodied coilovers. They're threaded bodies, so they are adjustable. The little threaded spring perch that's on there. Battery tray. There's your speed control. This is an XL5 HV. HV in this case is a little acronym meaning high voltage. So unlike the other XL5, your standard speed controls that you're going to find in the Rustler, the Bandit, whatever you got, this speed control can take an 11.1 volt LiPo. So this car is 3-cell LiPo rather capable, which is cool. As we've gone over before, you probably know about these. Just in case you don't, this is your 2-speed servo right here. So that controls like your high-low functionality. And then these two right here, respectively, this one is the front differential locker and the rear differential locker. So you got those two there. There's obviously the motor. That's a Titan 21-turn 550. So that's Traxxas's go-to brushed rock crawler trail truck motor that they used in every iteration of the TRX4. All right, folks? We got that going on there. Throw this body back on here. It sits down nice and easy, and that's another thing that I like about this body with the inner fenders and everything integrated into the chassis as opposed to the design they decided to implement with their Range Rover one, is that it's real easy to put the body on and off when you don't have to fiddle with that whole body cage, integrated fenders, whatever it is you got. Real easy to use, super user friendly. I like that. All that's left in here is a little bit of foam, so we can go over this stuff. We covered the transmitter, so I'll set that right there. In here, you're going to find a little bit of your Traxxas literature, which is always nice to have. And there's obviously assembly manual, some precautions to keep in mind whenever you're charging batteries, doing whatnot. If you're the kind of dude that likes to deck your car out with all kinds of crazy Traxxas livery and just sticker it up, you're in luck because you got quite a few here, damn near a dozen Traxxas stickers on there for you to just have your way with. Here we got some of these ball-ended, some of them your regular end hex wrenches that you can use, little 4-way open-ended wrench, wheel nuts, other kind of little open-ended situations you might got going on. And there's your owner's manual, and it's all there. All good to go, packaged up in one box for your convenience. It's awesome, I gotta tell you. And every time one of these comes out, I think I've seen kind of the coolest that they're gonna get. But for my money, man, this one really has it nailed at this point. This for me is like the coolest iteration of the TRX4. And I might go so far as to say in my personal opinion. Obviously, it's all up to your personal sensibilities, like how you identify with this kind of stuff. But so far as mine are concerned, I think this might be the coolest licensed body Traxxas product I've ever seen. For me, personally. So, why don't you let me know what you think? What's your favorite Traxxas licensed body? What's your favorite iteration of the TRX4? I'm kind of anxious to hear about it. I know the TRX4 has been out for a little while. Tell me what you think about it. If you have one, if you want to get one. If you have any questions about this one, give us a shout out. Let us know. Thank you again so much, folks. And I wanted to give you a quick shout out, by the way. It's been a little while now since we've been doing our YouTube channel, me and Steve. And I really appreciate you guys getting on here, you know, sharing your opinions. I always try to reach out to you guys and let you guys know what's up. If I don't, it's just because I'm a little busy. I'll make sure and get back to you if you give me a direct question or whatever you got. I feel like the viewers of our YouTube channel are a little different from a lot of the other RC channels that are out there. We like to get into a little bit more detail here sometimes and kind of riff on the stuff. Try to have a good time, you know, and I just got to tell you, I really appreciate you guys, man. So, like I said before, if you got any questions or you want to know nothing about something, you got stories, let's hear them, dude, because the TRX4 has been out for a while and I'd like to hear them. Thank you folks so much for joining us. Don't forget, by the way, I should mention that we have a fundraising campaign going on, and you will be able to find that down below in a link. That is a link to our Indiegogo campaign, because we have a really terrible landlord that's doubled the rent on us here at Evett's Model Shop. We're working on a 70-year legacy over here in the west side of Los Angeles. The rent is going like this, and our likelihood of being able to stay here is going like that. So if you don't mind, when you click on down there to click that subscribe button and like this video, click on that link too and see what we're up against. And if you feel like it, don't stifle a generous impulse. Thank you very much. Have a great night.